We're joined now by former U.S. Attorney Joyce Vance. Welcome back.
Good to see you, Ari.
You know, Joyce, we throw around so many legal terms. I'll just remind folks that when you're the U.S. Attorney, you're in charge of the entire office that oversees cases like this. So for viewers, you would be managing many of these. And I'm just curious how you would react if your line prosecutors won a case like this quickly, and what you would think of he has the right to appeal, but what you think of the likelihood of success on appeal.
So possibly the more relevant experience I had in my career, Ari, was the 6 years I spent as the appellate chief in my office, where I oversaw all of our criminal and civil appeals and argued an awful lot of criminal appeals. And I would say that Bannon and his lawyer, David Shin's assessment of this case as being, you know, some sort of miracle bulletproof case on appeal is dead wrong. This case absolutely will not be reversed on appeal. They've done everything that they could to do what defense lawyers call injecting error. They've tried to create a lot of arguments. Oh, the judge didn't let us make certain legal defenses or introduce certain evidence. But ultimately, that won't help them on appeal in this case.
So what would Mr. Bannon, who is twice convicted, but only once, I should say twice indicted, but only once convicted because he was pardoned previously, what kind of sentencing factors will the judge consider? What do you envision here?
So this is an unusual misdemeanor charge. It has a 30-day mandatory minimum. The sentence for a misdemeanor can't, by law, exceed 1 year. And although there are 2 counts here, and theoretically it's possible that the judge could sentence in a consecutive fashion, that means he would serve the sentence on 1 count and then the sentence on the 2nd count, so that could be 60 days or up to 2 years. It's likely that he would serve that time concurrently. His guideline range will be something in the neighborhood of 0 to 6 months, but we know he's got that 30-day mandatory minimum. The government is almost certainly going to argue that the judge should go higher than that mandatory minimum to send a strong message that Steve Bannon is not above the law and, like other mere mortals, has to comply with subpoenas from Congress.
All right, now I feel like I'm either one of your junior lawyers or one of your students if you were a guest lecturer. So if I'm understanding you right, it sounds like you're saying something in the neighborhood, and again, judges have discretion for a reason, but something in the neighborhood of, say, 1 to 9 months-ish?
It will be at least 30 days. It can be as much as 2 years. I think something in the neighborhood of 30 days to 9 months, or perhaps even a year, is a reasonable estimate. But like you say, Ari, the judge will have discretion about how to impose sentence and whether both of those counts get served at the same time or separately. Understood.
And a month plus in any of those federal units is no picnic, especially for an individual who has never lived anything like that. Mr. Bannon, who's been a guest on this program and who's made a lot of money in his life and had a successful life, he's a multimillionaire. It would be a very different experience in a federal incarceration unit. Take a listen to him.
It would be, Ari, and there's one other point we should make about the statute, which is that typically you would expect someone like Steve Bannon to go into federal custody. But this statute specifies that he'll be held in a jail, which implies to me, if the courts actually honor this rather unusual provision, that he'll be spending time in the D.C. lockup rather than processing into the Bureau of Prisons.
Oh, interesting. You're saying, again, because of misdemeanor, so it doesn't have that long a time, it doesn't go into BOP. It would be in basically what, the D.C. city jail?
You know, it's actually by statute here, and it uses this phrase that I've not seen in a statute before, but it talks about jails. That's where people typically are held before they're convicted. Prison is where you go after a conviction. So we'll have to see what the judge does here at sentencing.
Really interesting, because we always learn a lot from you, including in the details, which matter. Here was Mr. Bannon earlier, also, again, going at the committee. Take a look.
Why is Benny Thompson not here defending his committee, the show trial? Does he really have COVID? Has anybody checked? This is an absurdity. It's completely and totally absurd. Why is Benny Thompson? They can't find any human beings. There's no human beings that will admit to anything about setting any date.
A final question, Joyce. He is a citizen. He happens to be a defendant, and now he's convicted, but he has every right to publicly say what he wants, attack anyone. Do you see, though, for those who are following the facts and not the bluster, do you see any of this intersecting with his appeal strategy, or is this just a side bluster or what some call a side hustle because sooner or later he still wants to use this politically, even if he has to serve time?
The guy who's blowing the whistle in the background is making more sense than the words that are coming out of Steve Bannon's mouth here. Nothing here that helps him on appeal, but I think you're right,
Okay.
Ari. This is about Steve Bannon portraying himself as a martyr and probably making a buck down the road on the book that he'll write.
Understood, and we did want to get the views there, and you've walked us through it with great acumen. Joyce, I wish you a great weekend as well.